okay? Before proceeding further.
Yeah.
So, how confident are you with the interview?
Not much, seriously. Like, truth is that how much ever lead code you do or anything you do, after a point of time, you just started to feel that uh, if you know it, you'll know it. And there's
Hmm.
not like 100% thing for sure that you will be knowing everything.
Yeah, but there's also, see, I would like to discuss about this one thing. People know how to solve it in Leetcode. They will grind on Leetcode for like 20 straight days, and then they go to interviews, and then they were like, okay, how do I solve this? See, I know how to solve this because I have faced this question before. But the thing is, I know how to solve this, but I can't convey that to the interviewer.
Yeah, that happens. That did happen with me.
Let me just. I know how to solve this, but I can't interviewer.
Yeah, that happens. That did happen.
Okay, I can hear my voice and your voice, so it's pretty crispy. So I think viewers can tell us if there is any kind of problem.
Yeah, we are good on speed as well.
Yeah. So I think we should introduce ourselves. Sahil, you should go first.
So, hi everyone, welcome to another session for DSA in prompt. Here we do live coding sessions of system design and lead coding, data structures and algorithm. And the whole idea of is to build a community where people can come up, have real life, interviews, and then start developing skills, not just limited to the way companies ask the question, but also to have a real discussion on technology and then build this community further.
Yep. I'll go next. I'm Gautam. I'm a software developer and I have an experience of 4 years. And I'm also part of this community prompt. And one thing that I always like to do is to encourage people to always look at themselves and they think that what they are valuable, how valuable they are. I have seen that in a lot of cases where people are like, to be honest, in tech, there are a lot of people who uh, undervalue themselves, and I don't. I actually feel that is not the right thing to do. So yeah, I think that is one thing which prompt can actually solve in long run. But yeah, so hi everyone.
That is true, Gautam. That is true. For example, at times it can be few of the experiences. At times it can be, the company that you are with, or some other factors as well, which makes you feel like you are just not enough or you're not good enough to actually start doing it. And then once you actually start doing that stuff, and then eventually when you fail and then you retry, you do realize that there's not much of a difference between you and the others, or everyone is trying to do the same thing.
Yep. And failure, in a way, for me, it shows us that there are some things which we lack. Sometimes failures are just failures. It might be because of luck, but yeah, when you're grinding towards an objective, at one point you're going to reach there. And the thing is, it's going to be months, it's going to be years, doesn't matter. You're going to reach there one day, and like I think that people should strive to be more open, try to be more confident with their life.
Yeah, that's true. Like, when so I really like this one quote from Drew Houston, from the founder of Dropbox. He said that you just need to be successful once. And then he said that context in the case of startups, but yeah, that is true in like most of the situations of your life, right? So you can
Yeah.
fail n number of times, and that is fine. You just have to clear one time in which whatever you want to clear and wish to clear for a company or anything.
Yep. Yep. That's true. I think we can go for the interview. We can start the interview.
Sure.
Uh, so you're going to be the
So
interviewer, right?
yes, this time the
Don't take it
table.
to the heart. Take it to the heart. The last time I made the interview a little tough, so like I
I
hope that
know
you're not going to give me a lot of
there
difficult
was,
questions.
when we started it, it was a thought that we will be making these things, taking them professionally, but I don't think so. Each time we ask each other specific questions, I do feel like somewhere we get personal, and then we want to screw each other up to the time
Yeah,
that we are not able to solve the questions.
in a way, it's okay.
Yeah.
See, here it's okay, totally okay. People sometimes they ask a lot of questions which are going to be hard, but at the end of the day, in interviews, usually they come with a simple question which can be solved using some concept. They don't, and I don't think I have ever faced any Leetcode hard questions in my one of my interviews. It would be rare, but even then, it would be considered as Leetcode medium to hard, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, when you do talk about it, like we'll get started in a minute, but since you have touched that point, so for me, um, I think so. Like it can be like medium hardish type question, not directly like hard, but there are few OA rounds that I think we have faced for sure, who have just, I don't know, like seriously hard questions, right?
See, I have faced some questions which are like, I don't know, like it's just concept, which you learned like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and then they expect you to remember that. It
Permutations
might be
and
something.
combination questions, right?
No, I'm not talking about that. Some concepts like how many channels can like see. I don't know, man. Maybe
How many ports there can be in a system, and
yeah.
like this so in like layered networks, the layers, OSI layers, this stream, how much big of a packet that this layer can take in one time. Yeah.
Yeah. See, maybe if I'm preparing for my system design, maybe I might remember those, but like there are like those are still reasonable. Sometimes I have faced questions which are like extremely conceptual. See, first of all, I'm not from a computer science background, uh, so I never learned any of these,
Well,
and because of that, I actually, to be honest, I have to actually go to a book and then read through it and then understand it. So yeah, those kind of questions.
that's one thing that you might want to tell to the viewers now, that yeah, this guy is not from computer science background, and yet he is sitting in Atlassian.
Oh, you're talking about Atlassian. You're the one who
No,
is from Meta,
the
and like you have never even mentioned the fact that you are in like you got into Meta and like there was a lot of offers. You actually shifted companies multiple times and all. You never mentioned any of those in this interview.
I uh I take a lot of inspiration from you. So I'm exposing you have more convoluted journey than mine, so I know that. Uh yeah. But that is true, right? For example, a lot of viewers do ask, and then the youngsters do have a question that I'm not from the computer science background, or how do I get into it, or how do I make it? And the truth was that just know how to solve the problems.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. See, I've met a lot of engineers who are not from computer science background, who are working in Meta, maybe Google, Amazon, all those FAANG companies. And because of that, uh, like you should never be like giving up. Oh, see, I have met juniors who were like, see, I study in this college at this branch. I don't think I can do any work in IT. Maybe in some small companies, maybe in some startups, but I don't think I can actually go for uh, bigger companies like Google and all. And to be honest, I went for Google interviews. I solved a lot of questions there. I've seen the engineers there. So I have actually met one engineer who was not from computer science background. And yeah,
That is so
to be
true.
honest, yeah, in this industry, you don't actually like a lot of people who are from different backgrounds actually come here and they enjoy and make they build softwares. It's more or less not just for CS. So yeah,
True. And then like one way is for sure, and then it is becoming a mainstream of to solving lead coding and then having the system design interview. But I've met like other peoples in the industry as well who are who got into tech and more of like Silicon's Guilfoyle way. They thought they're like
yeah,
completely self-taught, do everything by themselves. We're contributing to open source projects, and then one day, the recruiter just called them and then like, do you know these stuffs? And then they're like, yeah. And then that's like more than enough. Like, come on board. They are on a very huge and very awesome positions, right?
yeah. See, I actually know a guy. It's very interesting story. Uh, it will take 2 minutes to explain that. So this guy in his final year, he was going to go for a company. He wanted to sit for the interview for some company, and he was rejected from like 8 companies because his CGPA was below 7, and he was not allowed to sit for these companies because they had a CGPA criteria of above 9 and all. And he got in through a walk-in interview. He actually went to the interview and uh, like he was asked a question. He just solved it within 5 minutes, and then they looked at the resume, and then it was written for the India. His rank was like in single digit in code chef, and then within a week, Google actually approached him. Like one engineer from Google approached him
That's
one
true.
week after that, and then he got through the interview. He is working in Google right now. And you know what? The funny thing, his branch is mechanical.
That is so true. So
Literally.
even to be told, even I was not allowed in a lot of companies during my placements because of the CGPA. And then eventually you do understand that you'll get there. So we
Yeah.
have Gautam. We have sorry. Go on, please.
Oh, by the way, my CGPA is below 7. So, like,
Mine as well. Not a good
see,
thing
to
to
be
brag.
honest,
Not a good thing to brag still, right?
in my honest opinion, because my branch was different, I could still justify that. So, in a way, that should be okay.
Still.
I think Tushar has
Yeah.
a message. Yeah.
Let's answer that one and then we'll shift to today's questions, right?
Yeah.
So he says that I face difficulty getting shortlisted. I have worked hard on DSA things. Apart from FAANG, many companies hire for Java Spring Boot, so I face difficulty as there I work on different and other frameworks. Gautam, do you want to answer it or shall I go forward?
I think we both can answer it. See, in my opinion, most of the companies which actually deal with candidates, they actually don't look at which all languages you know. Because if you can solve it logically, like using DSA, and you properly go through the system design, they'll anyway take you in, and they have something called like they'll give you like a month or something so that you can learn all the technologies that will be required for the work. So I think you should just stick to what you're confident with right now and have some experience in these technologies.
See, Tushar, it's not just about blindly solving the lead code or system design question. It's more about that. See, there are few companies who are adamant about the specific roles which they are hiring for, And for those specific roles, they would need specific technology that they will be working upon. So for example, let's say that if you're joining a startup, sorry about that. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think
sorry, I'm back. Yeah. So for example, let's say that if you're joining a startup, okay, and then you're applying for, let's say, a front end, or they have a very peculiar back end, and if it's not a very big startup, they cannot hire for each and every different position, and if especially if they are moving in a faster pace. uh that being said, keep on trying. The truth is that yes, eventually you will, reach to a specific company where people will be looking for one particular skill, and they would like to know, like, in a core, do you actually understand the concepts? So for example, as Gautam said, that people do Leetcode for straight 20 days, day in day out, and they also go to the interview and then still say that they are able to solve all the questions, but they are still not hired because they cannot convince the interviewer that the thing, instead of just saying it out.
I think that answered the question. Tushar, is there anything else that, or did we not able to answer the question?
Cool. I think we can move on, and then if we'll be having questions, we'll start to go ahead with it afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I think uh, we can ask this question anytime. Uh, while we are doing this interview, we are going to pick up all these
Yeah.
questions and then answer all this. So yeah,
Cool. Let's get started then. Yeah.
yeah.
So, uh, I see that we might be experiencing a little bit buffer. Is best from a side. Do let us know if you are experiencing too much buffering. We will stop and try to make some changes on our sides.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh,
Gautam.
there was this question: how do we get the resume shortlisted? So I think there was this article in Google that I would paste it here. Where you basically have to write in your resume what all you did and how much impact that uh, thing that you did made for the customers or for the business. Like, for example, if I write something like I made a software which made the company like rich, no, not rich, like it reduced the cost of deploying a service by like half, and every service might be like $3, but like if there are like 1,000 services, you basically made uh,
Yes.
half of that, like 1,000 times 1.5, which is $1,500 for them.
True. And for us, for me, uh, more of like that old school, giving the pointer, not so fancy resume has worked all the time. The thing is that your recruiter does will be at paying maximum 30 seconds attention to your resume. So when you look at a page, and the first insight is that you do place the first upper part, the main information, and you put it in that way that it's an eye catcher within that 30 seconds. That's how you do it. Plus we'll be sharing out like few of the links. I think like there are very different ways in which was having it. Gautam, I did read an interesting article yesterday on Y Combinator, that they said that how they wish to help people organize their resume. And
Oh,
yeah, that was traditionally it was like very different. And they also said that people have just a one specific column in which they say that these are all of the technologies that they know. Instead of doing that, rather one should be doing is that you said that you work on this specific project, and within that you do specify that these are all the technologies that you have worked with.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, Sahil, I think you can show your resume. Like people are going to be very interested in looking at
Seriously,
your resume, to
right
be
now?
honest. Not right now, maybe at the end of this session.
Yeah, yeah, sure. We'll share out the link. I think even we can share out the template that we have used and the platform that we have used to make our resumes, right?
Yeah. And yes, uh, everyone is welcome. We actually want to take interview for anyone who wants to like make their interview skills better. We would like to give you pointers, and we would like you to also give us pointers, give everyone pointers so that they can make their interview skills better. So, yeah,
Yeah, Tushar, it's that is the whole reason why Prompt has started, so that we just can take interviews and then it can be of anyone.
yeah, we had to start with mine by this chance. Uh, but yeah, we are actually trying to expand it to more people, like get uh, when we see a lot of interviews, a lot of interview strategies, you actually try to strategize it yourself and then you go to an interview and then you actually slay that interview. That's what we are trying to make it here.
And the truth is that community do like you already, Gotham. Like Gotham, OP, and I've heard from like other people's mouth as well. You're getting popular.
So hopefully, dude, I have no idea how you are like you're being so humble about yourself. You actually like I've seen your journey through my eyes. I've discussed how I discussed with you how you have been to a lot of interviews and you have gotten a lot of offers, and then you're like, no, I'm not going to tell all of that. I'll just tell you what I have learned by myself,
That's
but
the
in a humble way.
well, that's the idea. That's the idea.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think in this video you should put like uh, sorry, uh, like Atlassian and like meta engineer.
Maybe someday. Maybe I will.
Yeah,
Cool. We'll get started.
yeah,
So the first question that I would be having for you, you will be solving it in Python, right?
yeah.
Yep. So
You're
do let
climbing a
me
stack.
know if you want me to explain you the question or you would like to go first. Okay.
Yeah. You're climbing a staircase. It takes n step to reach the top. Each time you can either climb one or two steps. How many distinct way you can climb to the top? So n is 2, the output is 2. So the explanation is 1 plus 1, or just jump from 2. Uh, so just one question that I have, like when n is 0,
Yeah.
what should be the number of the output? Is it
We'll
just 1 or is it going to be
return it
0?
as 0.
Okay. How big can the n be?
Well, take it as not a very big value. Say that it can have 50 for starters.
50.
Yeah, 50.
Uh, okay. I'm actually doing this because I wanted to know if I have to return it as integer or like because it's not explained here how I should return it. So if it is an integer, if it actually crosses that bound, it I'm going to end up giving a wrong answer, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that would depend. Maybe we can discuss that approach. Like it does. Maybe you can tell me what will be few of those conditions in which you think that your answer can like go beyond the range of int 32 or something like that.
Okay. Okay. So actually trying to draw it out. So what I'm thinking is if n is going to jump from there, like if I'm jumping from n, like if I reached n, for example, I have to either jump from n minus 1 or n minus 2, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to just show this thing. One second. I think my drawing needs some kind of award or something. But yeah, you can either jump from n minus 1 or n minus 2, right?
Okay. Oh, those are jumps. Yes. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So the thing is, if I have to reach n minus 1, I can either jump from n minus 2 or n minus 3,
Okay.
right? So what I can see is that every time I jump from one stair, like if I reach one stair, either I have to jump from the stair below me or two below me.
That's true.
I, I think this is a dynamic programming question, and I think what I can do is I can write the function as f of n should be for reaching n, it either jump from f of n minus 1 or I jump from f of n minus 2.
Okay.
So to reach f of, stair of n minus 1, it has to be from n minus 2 or n minus 3. So it will go like that. So I have to actually sum up both those possibilities, and that will give me the answer for how many jumps it will take to reach that point. So one more question I have, like, can I just assume that the output is integer? That would be simpler for me.
Yeah. 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 For now,
Uh,
let's assume that the output that you'll be getting considering for this will be within a range of integers.
yeah. Uh, I'll also just note it down so that just in case if you're going to review it later, uh, you would see that, like, yeah, I've considered this as an integer because we are assuming that it is not going to
Yeah.
overflow. So, so this is the prototype that I am thinking of.
Okay.
Do you think that I should write the code that
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Maybe like you have laid the foundation. You can write down the code and then explain your code.
okay?
Guys, do let us know if you're still facing the buffering issues. If it's too much, we will try to make some changes and then start broadcasting again.
So there is this first uh, thing where n is equal to 0. If it is n is 0, then return 0. That will be the first case. I'll put another case where it will be like jump from n minus 1 stair. So this is a recursive problem. So let's solve it this way. So you have to reach the stair of n minus 1.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll just write the variable as stare. This is the first possibility.
Okay.
Okay. Then the second possibility. The you actually jumped from n minus one step and you return the total possibility. I'll just write the total possibility over here. I think this should solve it.
Okay. Okay. So if your n is 2,
Do you want me to run through a solution?
yes, yes. Let's take an example of like n equals to 2, and then maybe you can try run it, and then
Okay, so stairs of 2.
yeah.
So in this, the first condition, stair is not equal to 0. Okay, so you skip that. The first possibility is going to be stairs of 1. The second possibility is stairs of 2. Oh, sorry, 0. Hmm. I actually think I got a bug over here.
Oh,
Let's see how I can solve this.
yeah.
So stairs of 0, the first possibility and the second possibility. Okay, I actually missed adding a 1. So stairs of 1. Okay,
Yeah.
1 plus stairs of 0. Uh, Now, stairs of 1. The first possibility is 1 plus stairs of 0. And second possibility is 1 plus stairs of -1. So I found another edge condition.
Yeah.
So we'll actually have to subtract. If you're subtracting it to negative,
Yes.
this would have actually gotten to a point where it would just compute negative values also, and then would have possibly broken. I think this would also actually cause some problem. I think we can do one thing which like if n is 0, we would actually return 1
Okay.
because there's only one possibility from jumping from 0.
Okay.
But the initial thing was that the if we are at stair number 0, it's going to be uh, just 0, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in this, I think I should actually create another function that would just ensure that if we are at stair 0, like the first function will just be a contingency where the stair of 0 will be given as 0, and the second function where the stair of 0 will be given as 1. So I'll just show you how that is done. So I make a recursive function. Okay.
Mhm.
And I'll actually return the stairs recursive, the stair. Okay. So in this, what we see is that if the stairs value is less than or equal to 0 in the first function,
Mhm.
we are actually like if stairs of 0 is 0, then we are going to do that. Okay. If the value of stair is more than 0, we're going to actually recursively find out all the possibilities. And in this, we are not actually putting 1. This could have been an error future. Yeah. Okay. So in this run book, sorry, the run through, what we see is stair of 2. The first possibility is stair of 1 plus stair of 0. Okay. In stair of 1, its first possibility is stair of 0, which will turn to be 1.
Okay.
Just have to replace this. Okay. So stairs recursive of -1 is actually 0. Okay. And stairs of 0 is anyway going to be 1, right? So this is going to be 1. This is going to be another 1. And when you add both of them, then we return 1 plus 1, which is going to be 2. This is going to be 1 plus 0. Yeah. I think this code should be fine.
Okay. Okay. Fine. It's fine now. I think maybe now we can move on to the next question and have the main. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can add some optimization to this if we are actually going to go with the dynamic programming approach.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was thinking like this is more of like the initial question, so it's fine.
Okay.
You can skip that one in that. Maybe we can discuss this question and the reiteration be done here.
Yep.
Can you see the question?
Uh, where is the question?
Question 2
Can you?
dot py.
I haven't gotten it yet. Can you save it?
Yeah, it's saved.
Okay, I'm not able to. 1 second, I'll just refresh this. Okay, I got question 2.5. Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Two positive and we start position and end position. We are standing at position start. And then number line with one step, one position to the left, one position to the right. Given a positive integer k, return the number of different way to reach end position starting from. Okay, k steps. Modulus. It's 10 raised to 9, right? Just checking. Two ways are considered different in
Not
the
even,
order.
not even to. Oh yeah, that this one is 10 cap 9.
Yeah, number line looks into integers. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. So we have 3. Okay. Okay. I think we can do one thing. So I'm just thinking of it this way. There is going to be a starting position.
Hmm.
There is going to be an ending position, right? So the thing is, what I can see is that the ending and starting position can be swapped, uh, uh, whichever way it wants. So if I actually put two as the starting position and one as ending position, that will still give out the value as 3 as output, right? So I'm just demonstrating this. Let me.
Before we actually move on, do you like, shall we paste out this question to the chat as well if the viewers want to solve it like next to us? Next to us?
Yeah, I think you can give the lead code number, I guess.
Not sure of that right now. Remember that. We just paste 1 second.
Are you checking out that if I'm looking at the live feed as well,
Yeah,
just in case? Oh,
yeah,
I don't. You don't want me to cheat.
yeah.
It's okay.
Well, I think we're back on screen. I have shared the number. Now you better don't switch the screens, okay? Go on.
Yeah. So lead code 2400.
Seriously, man,
Okay.
that one's
See,
not
I
for
don't
you.
remember.
That one's not for you. I
Uh,
need to block you from the live stream then.
it's see, I have to anyway. Like, okay, you're asking me to not go to a live stream. Okay, it's okay. Maybe I might be able to give this question some justice. So, okay, reading through this question. So, at any position, if at any position X, let me just put it here. So it goes on like this, right? It's an infinite. scale. Yeah. So it might start with something like this, uh, and there are two possibilities. It will go here, left, or it might go to the right.
Yes.
I can still visit the one that I have already visited, right?
Yes.
Because in this question that okay, yeah, the second, in the explanation, the second point actually visits node one twice. So
Because
yeah,
the size of the step that you can take is one.
yeah, yeah. So I understood that. For the next possibility, it might come like this. Okay, okay, I understand. Okay, I think this can be a recurse. We can solve this recursively. I think we can solve this recursively first, and then try to find out if we can do it using DP.
Okay.
So, okay, there is this one case which I would like to pick up. If you can't actually reach the end position, for example, the start position is 1, the end position is 10,
Yeah.
K is 2. I'll just write it down. And K is 2.
Yeah.
Then this is impossible, right?
Yeah. You need to take care. You need to handle those cases.
Okay. Okay. So thing is, every time I make a jump, that will be my new starting position, right?
Yeah.
So if I jump from X, okay, and I land at X plus 1. So for example, from this example, I
Mhm.
started with X, then went to X plus 1. Now I only have K minus 1 uh, jumps remaining, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay,
So,
so
let's say that, for example, let's say that your pointer did started from somewhere, and then you started doing a specific pattern, and
hmm,
you do realize that you do realize that it's not working, so it cannot be counted as that you can reverse back those steps because it's considered as like if k is reduced, it's reduced. If it's consumed, it's consumed.
okay, okay. So I think I can do it recursively. So I think I'll give you a pseudocode. This might be in Python, but we'll enhance this in a better way.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So what do you call this? See, what do you call this thing? Like in case step,
Jumping. Yeah.
K jump step. Let's call it like that.
Yeah.
So you have the starting position,
Yeah.
you have the ending position, and K. So okay, if K is equal to 0 and return. So this is the first condition I'm thinking of. If K, I don't have any more K, and the starting and ending position is uh, same, then I should be returning 1. If it is not same, I should be returning 0.
Got it.
So this is when the starting position, like let's take this case where the starting position is 0, the ending position is 1, and you actually started from 0 and jumped to both sides. So when you jump to 1, you actually reach there in k equal to 1 step, and that's it. You actually return 1 to from 1 from the 1, and from -1 you return a 0 because you actually did not make it to start sorry, the end position. So yeah.
Considering the step, let's say that if you were like 3 steps, then you took 0, 1, and you need to reach 1. You started
Mm,
from 0 to 1, and then
mm.
1 to 2, and then 2 to 1 again. That would be counted if you're going in the coming back direction as
Yeah. So the point that I made in the first thing, the starting position can be like whenever I jump, that will be my new starting position. So whatever process I am doing right now, my end goal is to actually reach a node where the starting position from that node is the ending position that I wanted to happen, and I have no more jumps that I should be making. So is that okay?
well.
So every time I jump, that will be my new starting position, but I will actually lose one. I can only use one less jump.
And if you reach
And
the destination and you still have case, that is not a valid.
yeah, okay. So jump left, where I'll jump from starting position -1. Okay. So K jump step of, so the ending position is not going to change.
Yes,
So I'm passing it. So K -1. So in this, I actually jumped left. Left is for me, it is negative values. Like if n was the starting position was 0, it will be -1,
got it.
and I'll be losing one jump opportunity. Now, jump right, you have the same thing. You lose one jump uh, from that, but you will actually increase the starting position.
That's true.
And after doing all that, return the, after jumping left, how many times you actually reach the destination and how many times you reach the destination after you jumped right.
That's true. You
That
need
will
to
be,
take accountability for only those.
yeah, total possibility is jump left plus jump right, which is total possibilities. So yeah.
This is your final solution.
Mm, so in this, I can optimize this.
Yeah. Maybe we,
Mm,
maybe you can do a very quick try run, taking this example, see if you have any potential bugs, and then you can optimize it.
okay. There is one way to optimize it. Like, I think we can't use this. Uh, we can use something like one,
Oh,
the
yes. Yeah.
first one. Yeah. So let's go here. The starting position is 0. K jump step up 1, comma 2, comma 3. Okay. Uh, okay. The left jump left is basically, I'm going to just copy this. JL equal to this 2, comma 2, comma 2. JR is this was the first one. Now you actually 0, comma 2, comma 2. So in this, you actually k's value is not 0. That's why we are actually computing this. So 0, comma 2, comma 2, this was going to be, you jump left again from 0
Hmm?
and you lost 1. You jump right from here from 0, which is 1. Sorry, we still have to
You
compute this.
you did line 62, you did jump right. Oh, you're taking
Yeah,
two of the
right
instance.
from 0. Right from 0.
Got it. Okay. You're taking two instance.
So negative 1, comma 1, and then you jumped left again. It is minus 2, 2, comma 0. And
To be clear, like, you he started with, Gotham started it from here. And then each
yeah,
time he was having two instances which was made, and then he's traveling out one particular path now.
yeah,
He'll be parsing out the other paths as well.
yeah. I'll just put a hash over the
Sure.
path I'm actually visiting right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one, when I reach here, it's going to be negative 2, 2, comma 0. At this point, you know that you actually did not make it to the endpoint, so you return it as 0. So this will be 0 by the end of it. Now, in the right, also the same case happens. You actually did not end up at 2, and because of that, you return 0. Okay. And when you submit both up and you return 0, this will be 0. Okay. Uh, Now, jumping right, you have one more step. This exact thing is going to be 1. It actually jumped left, so 0, comma 2, comma 0. It's going to be 0, and this is going to be 2. So JL is going to yield 0 because you actually did not reach the destination on 0. This is going to come as 1, and you actually return 1 for this. And then you return both sum of both of them, which is 1. So while jumping left, you can actually get one possibility where you actually reach the destination.
Okay.
So this is that possibility.
Cool.
This is that possibility. Okay. So for the right jump also, this is going to be the same similar way,
Hmm?
and then you'll get other two possibilities as well. Oh, should I actually write it down or?
You don't need to like write down the function paths. Maybe you can just write it the way that you have written this line, and
Yep.
yeah, provide out the methods.
Yep. So for 2, when you go left once, you have one more chance, and you can go back to 2, which will be left and then right. Okay. And from 2, because it's already at 2, you can also go right and then left.
Mm-hmm.
That's two possibilities that is been listed over here. Any other possibility, when you jump twice to any other point, it's going to end up at uh, not at the end point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
that
think
sounds
we can.
reasonable. Maybe you can now optimize it.
One more optimization that I can do is if absolute value of start position and minus end position, the distance between both of them, if it is greater than k,
Yes,
return zero because that way you don't have to actually jump and then find out.
that's a very
Uh,
good optimization. Yes.
yeah, and there is one more optimization I can think of, which will be involving dynamic programming. So in
Oh,
this whole step,
yeah.
we were actually computing a lot of cases which were already being computed.
Yeah.
So what we can do is if starting position and the number of jumps remaining, if both are given to us and if it is already computed,
Yes. It's that easy in Python, the memoization.
yeah,
Like no
actually.
two-dimensional making of arrays and then initializing them, nothing like that.
No, you don't actually have to do that. That's why I use Python for most of my interviews
That is
that I
so
have.
true. Yeah. So, viewers, like the thing is that Gotham does codes in a lot of languages, but he opted for Python. Uh, like he just codes in Python for interviews, just because that it gives him the flexibility to write out the code much more faster, and he can solve more questions with a given time.
Yeah, and also writing a pseudocode that runs directly, it's also a win-win. So it's actually like I sometimes ask interviewers like, should I write the pseudocode and then write the Python code? And I was like, this is the pseudocode. If there is any optimization, I'll do that. After that, this will be a real code by the end of it.
Yes. Tushar, you're making a good point. So memoization or like memoize or cache is supported natively in few of the languages. Like for example, memoize is supported in Hack, cache is supported in Python. But if you do that, the interviewer will be asking you to memorize it on the sense that you know how to do it, not in the programming aspect, but in the logical aspect of how you're trying to solve the question. So in production environments, usually the steps are taking that they will not be making, for example, that DP dictionary that Gautam has made in line 42, that will not be taking place. They will be relying upon the caching and the memorization systems of the languages that has been supported. But in an interview, you'll be expected to know the logic behind how you are trimming few of the cases to the way that you're trying to fasten up the code that you have.
Yeah. There is this another thing called default dictionary. Like I just use a normal dictionary. There is a default dict where you can just call or just default dictionary of list. It will just initialize the dictionary with list whenever you're calling it. Once I actually put default dictionary in an interview, and then the interviewer was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, yeah.
It
Even in
was
the
very
built-in
hard.
functions, right? You're not allowed to use a lot of them.
Yeah, there is a reason behind it because sometimes the interviewer might not be familiar with Python. Maybe
That's true.
they are familiar with C++. You can just
Okay.
say that this is just a hash map and this is just a key that I created.
But yeah, thank you so much, Tushar, for bringing out that point.
Yep. So I think this is pretty optimized at this point.
Got it. Do you think that you wish to optimize any any specific use case that can come on top of your mind? If not,
Mm,
we can move on to the next. Also
I
defining
think that
functions
that
define.
sounds very suspicious. Like you are thinking of something.
No man, I'm here into it.
I think this should do fairly well for an interview, like for solving the question.
Got it.
But it's very hard for me to actually justify the O of n and like O of space and time complexity because this is a recursive system.
I think like since now you have optimized it, like you have memoized it, then you can tell the space and time complexity for this one, right?
Yeah. So the space complexity would be m times n, which would be n square. But I'm actually storing the starting position and the k that I already like k at any point of time at starting position. So that will be n square. And the sorry, the time complexity would be there are k jumps that has to be made, and that will be n square as well. That is what I can think of.
Got it. Okay, so the worst case possibility that you're saying is n square and n square, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I might be wrong.
No, no,
I'm
no,
not
that's fine.
really good with O of sorry, space and time complexity whenever there is a recursive solution.
Yeah, it gets tricky a little bit in recursion, but for like in always most of the time it's 99% of the time it's more of like n square. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got like few other points as well. Yep, you can also define function inside function. So we'll reduce the global variable use or passing DP as a variable. If point is more than k place part, you can directly return zero. This optimization. So Tushar is giving us few points.
Yeah.
Tushar, Gautam, would you like to answer that? So
Uh, I don't think this is an answer. He's actually telling the viewers that how we could optimize it and what are
yeah,
the
that's true.
optimizations that has been done.
Um, yeah,
I think I
and
should
also
write the
like if
comments for that. Yeah.
yeah, when I'm, for example, let's say that when I'm in an interview, and then it has happened at times that, for example, right now Gotham has written line number 42 as a global variable, but uh, you do upfront tell out the interview that, for example, the optimization that Tushar has given, either that, or you do say that time being I'm writing it as a global variable, but as a real system I would rather be defining it as a class, and then class will be having it dp or the any variable that you're having as their own variable, so that it would be in a much more safe environment rather than a global variable. So that can also be one of the answer that you can directly just say out to the interview. The whole point is that you do need to express whatever you think to the interviewer so that they stay with you. The point.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Tushar, for bringing that up.
Yep.
Cool. uh,
So do we have a next question or like
I do you were fancying it out, so I thought that let me give you.
you can put the third question. I'll just write down the extra comments and then leave it.
Oh, I'll paste it in the chat as well.
I think we should bring Tushar for the next interview.
Yeah, man.
Tushar, if you are interested, please give a thumbs up. We would really appreciate, like, we would really want to take an interview of you. And yeah, if you're interested.
Why am let me Okay, it's a thumbs up. Tushar is coming.
Yep.
So, this is the question, guys. You can refer to that notes link, and I think we can resume back to the interview.
Yeah.
Gautam, are you able to see the interview, like the question?
The third question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Given two input, first input is a location map at 2D array. O is a robot. E is the empty. X is the blocker. Second input is the query. It is a 1D array consisting of distance to the closest blocker in the okay 2 to the top blocker. Okay, index 1, 1. Okay, so 2, 2, 4, 1. That is index 1, 1. Can you just uh, tell me where that robot is? I'm not able to. Okay, let's see.
For example,
Is
O
it
is
this?
the robot here.
Yeah. Okay. So there is 2 to the left, 2 to the right, and is it like? Hmm, so it's going to be like left, top, bottom, and right. Okay. This is the order at which uh, we are computing it, right?
Hmm?
So we have to compute at each robot if there is any blockers like that. Oh, so the location boundary is also considered as a
Yes.
blocker. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that is interesting. Mm, 2 to the left and 2 to the top. So if there is another robot, is that also a blocker?
Yes.
Okay, so this is interesting. This is
Oh, you mean like, for example, if we are considering this and this position?
no. If there are like if there is a over here,
Yeah.
so another robot is also a
No,
what do you
in
call
in that
it? A
case,
blocker.
in that case, like robot in line number 10 will not be a block of it.
Okay, okay. So it's X or what do you call the perimeter, the sides.
Yes.
Okay. See, I think you can. Uh, I think this question doesn't seem like what do you call the questions like before. So this is something which I'm pretty sure you have thought of it yourself
Yeah, I'm
to
not so smart that way.
throw me off the scent. Okay, this is interesting. So write a function that takes two inputs and returns the index of the robot, if any, that matches the query that we are looking for. Okay,
You did this
so
to me last time, right?
yeah, but see, you should not take things to heart. Okay, so okay, I'll start with a small example. Let me just delete this. So let's look at this robot. Okay. For this robot, there is one on the right, one on the left. See, I'm taking it in a different way. Right now, for each robot, I will be seeing at each blocker that they will face. Uh, it could be an empty place also. So shall I be thinking of with each blocker, or should I be looking at each robot?
Yeah, that's a very good point that you have made. Maybe you can like write it down, uh, like the two ways that you have thought of.
Okay. I think we can actually do it with blockers. I think that is a way we can do it.
Maybe
So
would you like to like explain both of what do you mean by like I get the idea,
so
but
what I will do is I'll just manually put all the blockers over here, and then I'll be like, I'll be putting X all over there, and then so what I will do is whenever I find an X, what I will do is where is the leftmost X that I can find? Okay, so that X is like two after two empty, not empty, after two slots. It might be empty or it's a bot. So for this X, it's like for left, it is three away. Okay, for this block. For this, it is like three. Okay, we'll have to modify one of these. X. For this X, it is going to be two. It's
so
going to be
you
one.
are changing like for each blocker, what is the nearest another blocker to it? You mean that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll look at the left. For whenever I face a blocker, I'll look at the left, the previous blocker that I have found, and I'll look at the distance. So what I have to find is a bot at left equal to X value and right equal to Y value. That means that the blockers are X plus Y distance apart.
Okay. Okay. See, Tushar, the thing is that currently we do not have the white Excalibur right now. To explain this one, maybe Gautam. So can you explain it once? What is the question, and then what exactly are we targeting? And then maybe you can propose that so that we can tell out the answer.
Okay. So basically, there is a grid that is given that there are three entities. One is a blocker, which might be a small rock or something. There is an empty slot, and there is bots in between. So the thing is, we have to find out all the bots which uh, have this parameter. Like we have a list that is given. Where it will tell me the distance from left, top, bottom, and right to the nearest blocker. Okay, we have to find all the bots which are actually abiding with that logic. So in this,
It's like not even like all of the bots. You tell me one that is good enough. So
yeah,
be given a position, you'll be given a query. Whichever robot is fine with that query. Like, this one qualifies that specific query, you turn that as the answer. So you tell that this position x comma y is the robot that we are looking for. Now in that, Gautam said that we can derive to the question in two ways. One is that I can take a bot and then think of like the position where it is, and then move towards the solution. Or we can take like each blocker and then say that if this blocker is valid to the query that I'm seeking for, maybe then I can approach this solution and then trying to find out the answer. So those are the
Yeah.
two ways in which Gautam is approaching the question.
Yeah. So in this, I've actually found out for each blocker how like the left blocker that was beside it. And the thing is, if that blocker was part of that query, in that query, you will actually be like one bot which has one left and two right, or two right. So that means that the distance between the two blockers should be three. So that is here. Left to right, the blocker should be three apart. And then what you do is you go two to the left and you see if the bot is there. If there is a bot over there, then it's good enough. That query is done. We'll do the same thing from top to bottom. The top blocker, we'll look at the bottom blocker and we'll see if the top blocker is this distance away.
But in
So we'll
this case, like, what would be your time complexity?
uh, in this the time complexity. First, I have to actually look at the. We actually
Yeah,
have to scan left to right.
yeah,
That will be O of n if there are n elements,
yeah.
and then what we can do is we are only going to put the positions uh, which are like this left to right, left plus right distance away, and top to bottom distance away, top plus bottom distance away.
Okay.
So if there is an x, we don't know what is happening here, and there is an x, and there is some maybe some bot in the middle, but it is either the bot or an empty space.
Yes.
So for this bot, I know that it is left like 10 uh, units to the left and the 10 units to the right, there are blockers. That means for the rightmost blocker, the left blocker should be like 20 units away. So we'll be using that logic.
Got it. Okay.
Can you explain a little bit more, Tushar? Like, have intuition isn't this multi-source DFS?
The multi-source is the one which, like, you start your BFS from various different of just one and then try to. This approach is
Yeah,
like
but
ones that are. Sorry, you were asking.
uh, Tushar, I think it might be a little different because we are actually looking at the distance from top, bottom, and all. Like, if you're using BFS, uh, the thing is when we are traversing it, it will go down, maybe go left. That means that you're actually traversing on the diagonal direction also. So I think that might be a little wrong. But can you explain the entire process if you can? Like, can you write it down?
About like, we take Tushar in the next interview round, give him the same question, and then we
Yeah,
ask.
I actually would like to see a different approach because, to be honest, my approach towards this was this. This was the first intuition that I had.
Yeah. It's fine. For the time being, Gautam, please go on. Maybe you can build a pseudo code on top of it if you have, and then we can.
Yeah. So the way I'm getting this is left, top, bottom, and right. Right.
Yeah.
So LR is. So I think I'll write a pseudocode that will be better.
Time. The guy tells that I'm gonna write a pseudocode, and then that is his real code.
Yeah. See, it looks pseudocode, and then I can just shift it around, just write some test
Saves
cases, maybe.
saves you
Uh,
time even here.
yeah. So query, and there is the grid, and we'll just make it as grid query. Okay. Okay. So left, comma, top, comma, bottom, comma, right. Super good. So this extracts the left, right, bottom, and top. Uh, and I have something called LR and TB. So left, right, the distance that I would like that boulder to have, that would be left plus right, and oh, sorry, left plus right, and top bottom should be top plus bottom. Okay. So first I will be moving from left to right. Okay. So for I, comma, for the column, comma, row in enumeration of grid. Okay. So this will be the column number. Column is like this, right? No, that is row number.
Who call?
Row value for column number enumeration of the row values. So enumerate basically it actually gives you the index comma the value. So yeah, I think there is some disconnection. One second.
What happened?
Uh, yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, there was a small noise, so that's why I couldn't hear it properly. So for each row, it's going to be like that. So I actually need a dictionary also. column number in range of length of grid of 0. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to travel like this. Okay. So whenever I'm going right, what I will be doing is I'll look at the last time I found this thing. What do you call that? Obstacles. Okay. How far was my last obstacle? Okay. So column number, comma value. So if I found an obstacle,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to add this thing, an obstacle on top of this after this.
Okay, so you are
It
like
should start with
making
an
like the
yeah,
edges as accessible. That
yeah, yeah. Or should I do it for both sides? I should do it for both sides, right? Yeah. This is left, right. Okay. And I'll just write it below this. I think I'll have to write a two-dimensional this thing. What do you call that? Dictionary. Because that way this will be much easier to
yes,
compute.
yes, that same discussion, right? Last time, like at times you do want to shuffle out space complex to increase.
Yeah. So I'll actually use a array that will be better. A list. So uh, the length of grid. So I made a list like which is going to be left and right side. I'll be initializing it with one. Sorry, at this distance. So uh, I actually need a array which is bigger on both sides. So t2 equal to same thing. First thing I will do is left to right dp. I will compute it.
Okay, so that is like LRDP is like left to right, and then TRDP is
Top to Oh,
bottom.
TDDP. Sorry, TBDP. Sorry.
So will
Values
that
X.
be the case of like right to left and then bottom to top? Well,
Yeah. So LRDP is going to be for left to right, and TBDP is for top to bottom. If value is X, LRDP of row number, comma, 0, 1. To 1, obstacle distance equal to 1. So whenever there is a value of X, what will happen is LRDP of that point, row number, column number is equal to, is going to be equal to um, obstacle distance. Okay, so this will be the left to right DP.
okay.
And for right to left, this one I already have done the row values and all. Can I use zip star? That will just transpose the matrix.
Sorry, can you what?
I'll just use zip star. Like you can just transpose the matrix so that you can start instead of going row wise, you can go column wise and then go row wise.
But like by the time you're computing the time complexity for that, do add this uh, as that as well.
Okay. Now, this is where the magic happens. So if the value is X, mm,
Are you having consecutive for loops? 78, 86, and 8?
oh, sorry, I should have. Yeah, this is one problem that Python has. Sometimes you,
No, I thought you were going in.
Yeah, that was going to be abnormal. So yeah, values x, obstacle distance, values x, then f distance is equal to tb, means at this position the obstacle is at tb distance, okay, top to bottom distance. Then I'll have to find out the position first of bot is equal to uh, so row number minus bottom, comma. So row number minus bottom means you actually go up by subtracting the bottom, and then the column number is going to be the column number itself, right? Now, a position of bot with grid of position of bot is not, there is no bot over there, doesn't matter. You, oh, if there is a bot over there, then there is one more check that we have to do. It's left and right. So we'll actually look to the right, okay? So position of bot to the right. Okay, so we actually found out the x y plus right. Okay, now grid of position of obstacle that is not equal to LR. If it is equal to LR, actually, we will results. We'll add it to the result. Uh, Position of the bot. Okay. Okay. Basically, this is going to be a little uh, difficult to explain, but I'll try to do it. So first of all, actually,
Yes.
I don't need TBDP.
Just says that I think you have not 94.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I look from left to right. Okay, I record all the values for that. Okay, I keep it in a DP, and then what I will do is I'll go from top to bottom. I'll use this zip because I'll just transpose the grid. Okay, I'll transpose the grid and then left to right. Sorry, going from top to bottom. I'll find out the distance to the, like, whenever I reach an obstacle, look at the distance to the next uh, this thing obstacle. Okay,
Okay.
when I look at the difference of obstacle, the distance that is between them, if it is actually equal to TB, means top bottom, that what do you call the distance that is matching that, then what I'll have to do is I'll have to find if there is a bot in between,
Okay.
because top to bottom there is only, like, I'm actually looking at two obstacles. There won't be any other obstacle in between. Because of that, I can just search for the bot.
Okay.
When it's a
So
bot,
basically, so sorry to interrupt you in between. So it's basically, let's say that you do have the grid. You are with each step slicing out that specific row or the specific column in which you can have the possibility, and then you're trying to find out the solution. All right.
yeah,
Okay. Please go on.
this would have been really easy to explain in a Excelite draw because yeah, next time I'll try to explain it in Excali draw. Maybe that
That is
way.
also true, but the another thing that that we also need to remember is that by the time you're in an actual interview,
Hmm.
you would require to be explaining it on the code platform, right?
Yeah.
Please go on. You were explaining when you do try to find out in the top to bottom column.
So top to bottom, when I reach there, when I look up, if there is a bot over at that position, uh, then I'll have to check to the right. Uh, if there is a obstacle to the right, if I check the obstacle to the right, that is right distance away, which is this.
Hmm?
Okay, and if there is an obstacle over there, and the value for the previous obstacle for that obstacle is equal to the left right distance, then I know that this bot at this point is actually a right candidate.
Okay.
And then if that is the case, then I'll append it to the result.
Okay.
The
Okay.
position.
So what is your space and time complexity in this?
Space complexity is going to be, I'll have to add the thing. It will be the size of the grid. That will be the space complexity. Uh,
So M cross N.
the time complexity is the size of the grid itself, but twice, two into size of the grid. I'm only moving it once, one time at a time.
Okay.
Because I already, it's basically like a prefix sum. It's just the prefix distance to the last obstacle that is be taken here.
Like more than a prefix sum, I'll still call it as like a pre-computation problem, right?
Yeah, yeah, pre-computation problem.
Cool. Yeah, that does explain the idea was to that there are at times you will be having problems in which you can always take a decision to pre-process it and then try to find out your answers.
Yep,
That's what Gotham did. So Gotham did trim out like took all of the obstacles and then tried to slice out the space in which those obstacles were falling in the value of the query that we were specifically being asked, and then we were trying to find out the solution.
yep,
And also, as Gautam mentioned, there can be another way. That would be by computing each time with a bot. So instead of how Gautam sliced it with the obstacles as being into the place, you can do the opposite. You can try to take the bot and then can do your work. I'm not gonna tell the answer directly. You can do your work and then maybe like pre-compute it and then just run the query to know which bot is falling in the places that you are asking for.
yep.
Okay, Gautam. Yeah, this does make sense. Yeah.
See, next time it's your interview. So
Hey,
no, no, we actually have Tushar also, right?
yeah.
So I think for the next interview, I'm very excited and welcome Tushar. Tushar. We would really like to take an interview of you.
Yeah, yeah. Tushar, do let us know.
Your
Oh
availability, yeah.
no, the host.
Yeah.
Would you want me as the interviewee or interviewer or the Gotham? But Gautam, how was your experience that you want to share?
Uh, the thing is, this question seems like a very step up to see. This would come as this would normally usually not come because they would expect people to solve the question, discuss, and do everything in like 20-30 minutes. So,
Yeah, yeah. This can like
so you,
pause. uh, um. Okay, I'll be honest with you. This was nothing against like the last time that you took my interview, and nothing with that. It's a good question. It can. I don't know. I cannot say like more about it. That was one of the questions, but I do hope that people were able to understand, at least get the idea of the way that you approach the question, understand the question, and then the specific ways in which we do approach it. For example, by the time you were solving out the recursion problems, the way that I do like to understand recursion is that recursion starts to make a tree, and then each tree or each path is one of the possible paths that you can or cannot have as your answers, right? And then DP is more of like, since you are making that same paths again, you just ask that, do I have this path already? And then you just start trimming those up, get to your better solution.
yep.
I guess like this was for it. Was that question solvable in 20 to 30 minutes? And also how many questions they try to ask? It does depend. So see, um the medium, let's say for example, if we have the questions like the third question that Gotham was solving, uh
Mhm.
if this level of question comes, you'll be in a 45 minutes interview, and you would be expected to solve just one question.
Yeah. This question, maybe uh, see in Google at least, I what happened was one of the interviewer they gave me a very simple question as a warm-up question, and then another question which was pretty tough. Like it was a Leetcode medium, so it was like you could actually solve it.
And let's say that if, for example, the first two questions were there, so it's a usual practice for us that we would be solving it slower and then trying to iterate it more so viewers can understand. But those two questions you can expect in a 40 minutes. So first would be like more of a warm-up question, and then the second one would be considered as your main question.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Any more questions from the viewers that we have? Okay, one of our interview disappeared. Shall I change my screen? Yes, of course. You had to introduce him for the show.
Yeah, yeah. This is the guy who has helped me a lot. He
Like
used to
this.
just sit next to me in the interview and he looks at me like that.
Go on, introduce him.
So this is Joey. He's my partner. He teaches a lot of stuff about DSA. So say hi to him. I'll just drop him here. He comes here once in a while we are in an interview, and then
Yeah, yeah, I do remember like in initial times as well, right? By the time you joined the family.
yeah.
Yes.
So please feel free to ask me anytime to introduce him. He'll be always here. Thank you,
Um,
Trisha, for the kind words.
Even someone in the starting did say, right, Gotham, yeah, you are growing your popularity in the
Oh, thank you, man. Uh, I've been out of touch with a lot of interviews because uh, I haven't practiced Leetcode for like vigorously for a long time. But this was a new experience. This is something uh, that will like uh, churn more rate. Like it'll get better. I think by
Yeah,
doing this, we can always make interviews even more fun.
and it's honestly like they can always be like everything, then you just come solve it. And it's not about that. It's more about like you organically how do you actually come up with the approach, right? Then you try to solve it out.
Yep.
Okay. By the way, I did post out that chat GPT video today, that one of the short or one of the reels as well, right?
Yeah.
uh, I really like that platform till this time. So the thing is, till this time, I was watching few of the videos in which people have generated out the code. Initially I thought that someone has just made a video and it's not real. But then I started seeing more, and then I started seeing like people were asking the template codes to be developed, and I was like, okay, that's still fine. I went there today and I did ask it to develop a very simple structure of a Flask app for me in Python. And then it did. And I was still not satisfied. I was like, it's fine. I can always Google Flask template, and then that is like very easily available from a very long time. So you can have a model which has been passed on this and then have the answers.
Yep.
But then the point where I actually started stuck was I asked it to code out the Paxos algorithm for me. And like so till this time, whenever I was learning things, okay, when I was learning databases, when I was learning distributed systems, everything, Paxos was like one of the algorithm where I know how it works, but coding it out was like one of the points where I used to stop, like just not. And then it did code it out in front of me. So I was like gone. And then after that, I did ask him. So it's like one of the pet projects that you work with, right, in your free time. So I asked him that let's try with that. So I asked it to write me a distributed hash table code, and then how I will like organize it and then give all of the features. And it just did.
Yeah, it's wonderful how technology has been getting better all these days. So Tushar has actually asked one question: how do you suggest learning system design? And he needs to work on system design more. So I think I can suggest you a book.
Oh
It's
no, no.
always start with this. They always start with this. There is always going to be a session by Sahil anyway.
Seriously,
Uh,
man, you want to suggest that book to them?
yeah,
Well, yeah,
it's
that is
like a
actually
study
true.
Bible.
That book will teach you the best ways to learn system design. Uh, Not just like system design, it's the actual way that how the systems that we are using in nowadays are working. But for the starters, I think like I'll still suggest like there are few templates, few places. The knowledge is distributed. It's like not in one big place that we can actually think of. If you're talking about in a perspective of say just interviews, there are ways. But if you're talking like going into deep, there are links for that as well. The one thing is that we can share few of the links, and but you know I would suggest like this is also one of the primary reasons that we started this channel, to have collectively system design information in one place, at least for the coding, so for the interviews level, at least that you know how to follow, what to follow, and then how to solve it out and have the answers to you. So we'll be sharing out few of the links for those as well, and then
So I have added this link for a GitHub page which I usually used to refer for like getting started with.
System design primer.
Yeah, that one. So I think that would be is good place to start. Maybe read a lot, but more or less when it comes to the interview, they are going to ask you a lot of different challenges that you're going to face.
Yeah.
There are going to be a lot of things like, oh, why are you using Redis? Why are you using Kafka? Maybe it's not.
What is the architecture of Redis?
Yeah, those questions can be asked, and like you can only do it by reading a lot of blogs. You actually look through a lot of system design interviews and then see how people actually solve those kind of questions.
Hey, Gautam, do you like
Yeah,
I had this question and honestly don't know the answer, so just seeking out, like if you know, if you tend to know. Why is Reddit so fast even after being single threaded? I know they switched to like multi threaded in this previous versions, but why were they so fast single threaded?
I think that is a question we can ask the viewers to research.
Yeah, yeah,
And
because
that's also a fun way to say that I'm not sure myself because I've read about it.
yeah,
But yeah,
I know, right? And then this is actually like one of the question were asked to me in an interview, and I didn't know at that time. Still don't know.
uh,
Need to Google it out now.
so that's great. I think we should. I'll also look into it. Maybe the next session I'll actually explain the why this Redis is so quick even while it is single threaded.
Yeah. So, we wrap up this session, or like, do you want to discuss something?
I think Tushar has asked. I actually got back-to-back rejection in hiring manager round due to weak system design, so I was a bit frustrated. Um, I think Sahil can answer this better because Sahil has a lot of uh, like experience with these kind of things.
Okay, I'll be honest with you, Tushar. It's these things happen, and the only way is that more you face them, the more iteratively you face the rejections, and then still be calm and then keep on moving on. That's how the learning works. There's no easy way.
See, I'm telling this like Sahil has an experience because not because of rejection, but the thing is sometimes managers are put for system design interviews where the manager is like might have read it 10 years ago and then started asking questions and all. Sometimes that happens. And recently I found that like some of the system design that I have done with some of the interviews went really well, but then the managers screwed me over because they were asking some questions and they had something in their mind and I could not get through that, even though I aced my system design.
Yeah, that's all right. Things happen, and they will happen. Bad things will happen. Just be calm, keep on working on it, and then things eventually will get better. It's and the truth is that the sooner that you accept that you'll be facing a lot of rejections, a lot of frustrations, it will be easier for you.
So, Tushar, are we talking about like if they have gone for something like you have done a system design round and then they were like not satisfied with the result? If that is the thing, it's basically you can just practice more, reading through a lot of blogs, practice a lot more system design interviews with your peers or with us. Anything is fine. After doing all that, and you get through a system which will make incremental changes for you. After we get there, I think more or less you're sorted. It'll be like it'll be the same formula that I think I use for uh, Leetcode, where I just practice more and more, I read more and more, and then I get to a place where I'm more comfortable with certain like certain tools, and then I would know the things that I use in that tools. And if I was ever asked about that, why would I use this over that? I could give them a solid response.
Also, I've pasted out a link. It does consist of engineering blocks from various companies, the problems that they faced, and how and why they made certain decisions, and how things work.
Yep.
And it's a very good practice, right, Gautam, that in general that you do follow out the engineering blogs by like various companies.
Yeah.
They
Actually,
just
yeah, I faced this thing that there is a new thing that is added to their product, and you actually get to read it from their blogs before they publish it.
yeah,
You can actually take part in development of those if they are open source.
that's true. Yeah, and the good thing is that with that, you are just not limited to your knowledge for cracking just the interview, but you are learning in general as well.
Yeah. Uh, See, I there was with this one interview where the manager just said straight away that you actually solved the system design, you actually solved the DSA, but the thing was that uh, you actually solved it using a technique that we already thought of, and you when we were asking you certain questions, you actually had it prepared. That's why you were solving it instead of actually thinking it out and actually using your own expertise on that. So the thing
Just
is,
be polite, still be
practice,
polite.
yeah, practice is actually going to be the part. Like you see, if somebody asks you how can you use Node.js for this application, maybe you have not worked on Node.js, but if you know the answer is Node.js, you can say Node.js, but then you actually have to put down a lot more points to actually reason with the person and then try to solve it. If the person is actually asking like, don't use Node.js, use something else, go, then you should be able to actually modify that entire pattern and make sure that this problem can be solved using the constraint that is given by the interviewer.
All right, I think this is it for this podcast.
Yep.
Please do reach out to us if you do have any questions, queries. Gautam, you can, not Gautam, Tushar, you, I'm sorry that it might have slipped, and send the request again on LinkedIn. Do reach out to us for any of the questions. Do follow out the the LinkedIn page and this YouTube page for major updates that we will be publishing it as well. You'll find out also the link to our newsletter, which will be starting soon for all of the updates and upcoming videos schedules that we will be having in it.
Yep.
Yeah, and like this is so today before actually starting out the podcast today, I actually felt like this is the time where people can say that I can say that do hit the notification button so that you actually get to know that when we go live.
Yep. We would actually broadcast it like we're going to go live at one point, but like please do subscribe,
Yes, so
put
that the
click on
community
bell
does
icon.
reaches to certain limits.
Yeah.
Okay, see you guys, that's it for this time. See you next time.